All right, you're going to learn on this Garlic Marketing Show how one agency grew a law firm 80%, how they made a high converting website that actually could absorb the traffic, what they did to actually get less traffic but better quality deals, and how they did increase the lead quality, as well as what they started to do once the phone calls increase and long term to help this lawyer. Sheyne, thank you so much for being on the Garlic Marketing Show.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thanks for having me.
And before we get started, of course, it's brought to you by videocasestory.com. One of the best ways to rank higher and improve the conversion of your website is through video case stories. Go to videocasestory.com to learn more about how we can help you collect, craft, and deliver your best client stories. Real quick, tell me about what Smile Media does, and then let's get into your case story.
Yeah, so we've been in business since 1996. Me personally, I've been doing this. Smile Media I started in 2011, and we're a website design, development, marketing agency. And we've done everything from building social media sites like the likes of Facebook kind of stuff to helping coffee shops build logos. So a lot of experience and a lot of good stories to share.
Nice. And I mean, you've been in business for a long time, but it's awesome that you got these results. So tell us about this client. You get 80% increase for a lawyer. Tell me a little about who the lawyer is.
Yeah, so Boston Dog Lawyers, they came to us with an existing website, and they just were looking to increase their business and generate more leads. So I said, I think we should start with your website, because if I start to drive any traffic to your site, I don't think we're going to have a good conversion ratio. So then he agreed to it. We built him a new site. He has since, organically, he's doing very well. His target market is Massachusetts only, and he targets anything from pet custody to dog bites and defense to dangerous dog offense, wrongful pet injury and death, things of that nature.
Right. Yes, yeah. And it's a very cute dog on the website.
Yeah. So he wanted to go with this touchy-feely. He's a very Jeremy's a great guy, and he's a very touchy-feely kind of guy. Hence why he's probably in the pet business, and he's passionate about animals and their rights and owners' rights.
So, would you mind going through the website and like what you were, how you designed it?
Yeah, sure. So I forget what his original website looked like, but he was big into this kind of the pet kind of storyline and pictures of dogs and things of that nature, and did not want to be the traditional law firm, right, with a guy in a suit. We'll protect you, right? He was going for more the pet fan. So that was the angle that we took with that.
And when you're designing this, what were some of the other elements that you looked at to really make sure, because you said it was important to convert, what are some of the elements that you made sure to have on here to make sure it was a converting website?
Yeah, so it really had to do with just getting more traffic to a site and making sure the right calls to action were there, and that the areas of service were well represented. The service areas are a bit verbose, but when it comes to search engine optimization, content is king, and all the right words are on the pages, and he tends to rank very well. First place for many hundreds of words within the Boston, Massachusetts, specifically Massachusetts market. And so what we've done is we also have a pay-per-click marketing campaign going. I don't know if I want to get too specific about, his line of work or business, just in respect for his confidentiality and his differentiating and how he does things. But I think we're in the we probably get about 70% of all traffic in this space in the state of Massachusetts. And, he's always looking to figure out how we can get all the traffic. And so since we've started working with him, he's expanded his staff. He had, I think it's like every other month or 3 months, I think that we've been working with him. We've been working with him for I would say, I'd have to look up his account, but I'd say it's more than a year or two. And I feel it's like every 3 months he's adding staff, more lawyers. And he's telling me that he's never been so successful. How can I spend more money this month, Sheyne? These leads are great. And, we've really dialed it in. At first, we were getting some leads that, were less ideal. There's good customers and there's less desirable customers. And then there's the best customer. And so we've really retracted some of the words that were and or some of the areas that were less desirable, and targeting some other characteristics and finding these people. And he's very thankful for our relationship.
When did it first start working for him? What was the first thing that he noticed first win?
I'm going to read one. I think it's within 2 months we launched a website, and his quote is, "In the first 2 months since our new website went live with all the enhanced features, which let pet owners know who we are and where to find us, calls have increased more than 80%. We've already seen a significant ROI in working with Smile Media. Just started. We added more staff, and as a direct result, having chosen to modernize and stand out by going with Smile Media." That was his quote from June 30th, and I think that was probably a year or two ago. And just last month, I was talking with him about the leads we're generating, because we have monthly reviews, and I said, Jeremy, what's how the leads going? And he's like, "Sheyne, they're fantastic. I'm not getting those other leads, so I'm getting less calls, but the quality of the calls have increased, and I'm adding more staff again." So, yeah.
When you look back and you said leads weren't going well, what were the key things that you turned to really improve those?
Well, like anything, I think you need to. It's one thing to get traffic to your site, but it's a whole nother thing to land on a site that makes you feel comfortable enough to pick up the phone or send an email, right? So those two things both those cylinders need to fire together, and that's all we did, right? Is just tune the keywords and make sure that we were optimized for the right keywords, and that when people landed on the site, they felt like this guy was passionate about his business, and people could connect with him. So that was really it. Like the first step going back again is that we just did a redesign, and I think we maybe even rebranded a little bit. He had always had that dog, the little dog square with the icon there, and that was our baseline of where we had to spin off of. So, it's not like an overly amazing design. It's just a simple header footer with a bunch of content and testimonials and some practice areas and some references to the work. He has an extensive portfolio of happy dog clients, and so it's convincing, right? You land on it, you're like, all right, this guy looks passionate and enjoys his work. So I think that comes through, and so we just had to then make sure that the people who were in these situations that needed his assistance could find him. So, and when you find his page, you're convinced to give him a call. So he's doing that, and it's working out.
Love it. And what type of ads are you doing from? Are you doing just PPC, or are you doing any Facebook?
We do some SEO work, and we do some pay-per-click marketing. It's working out well for him.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And this is great. And what when you start to see results like this and you start to get results, what do you feel is next steps? Is it like he says, want to spend more money with you? What once you get this baseline, what do you do next after that?
Yeah, so it's all about the quality of the leads. All right, so you have a good website, the phone is ringing, the emails are coming in. It's like, all right, so how do you feel about those phone calls? Are they desirable? Are they undesirable? Tell me some of this. Is there a certain type of call that you're getting that's just like you don't want to get? And they'll tell us, and we're like, all right. So then we look back at the keywords and we think, all right, it must be this keyword. And so we'll look back. We can do call tracking and scoring, so we know exactly which phone call. We even can record the phone calls. If he had multiple agents, and so we could, like figure out if we're generating phone calls, and if maybe it was the sales agent who wasn't maybe not maybe doing as well a job on the phone as they could have, but maybe the lead was good. So we just kind of dive into all those details and analyze it more closely, and just figure out which keywords we don't want, or if there's a certain area, maybe there's a part of Massachusetts that's maybe undesirable just because of, maybe they don't, maybe it's maybe it's not, just not the right economic, maybe they don't have the cash to spend for a lawyer, right? Or so it just doesn't want to.
Yeah, and that is an important part. It's like it is a process.
Yeah.
I think people forget. There's like, oh, we want this leads, and also, are you doing any email marketing, retargeting, anything like that as well?
I don't believe we're doing any retargeting. I think, we're just doing the just the some SEO and pay-per-click marketing. I'm just going to look at Google Search Console to see. And I know we're short on time and we don't have a lot of. I'll try to talk and walk and. Yeah, but I know he's ranked, like SEO. Where BO Austin dog lawyers. I know we got hundreds of keywords that are in the first position. Google URL results.
And I have to say that I'm impressed too, because of owning the first page with other media too.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So, if I show like 100 words that he's ranking for, I would say just out of the first 100 keywords he's ranking for, we're in the top 10 on any of those keywords, right? That are generating traffic for him. Yeah. Yeah. And then, so yeah, he's doing well. I'm like, Jeremy, I could generate more business if we did more states, right? So, but we're really, we could certainly, there's more business to be had out there, but it's just, the search and doing that keyword research at the beginning and making sure it's the right keywords that generate the right kind of traffic, and then, where the places we're not ranking for, or we just want to make sure, we do some pay-per-click marketing, and just to cover our bases, because we don't want to lose any good possible clients. And it's all worked out for him, and he's growing steadily, very happily, and he's a good guy to work with.
Yeah. Well, and looking at this too, it's cool. Like type in Boston Dog Lawyer, and it's interesting that he owns obviously number one, but then you look at some of the other spots where he shows up, like his Twitter account.
Yeah.
Right. And which is fantastic, because owning a few spots on the first page, man, that not only helps with the potential to click through, but also just from a branding standpoint.
Sure.
It's just people seeing it over and over again. These aren't simple phrases too. I've got up, keywords everywhere. SEO difficulty 80 out of 100, off page 64 out of 100, on page 72 out of 100. These aren't easy things to rank for either.
Right.
That's fantastic.
Yep.
And that's really, really cool. Well, this has been awesome. Well,
Good.
and so if someone you work with people all around the country. Sheyne, tell me a little bit more about who all you work with.
Yeah, so we work, as I mentioned, we have we have Fortune 100 clients, and we have startups. I mean, it really spreads the gamut. We even have, I don't know, we have some federal agencies that we work with, and everything. We do all kinds of stuff, right? I've been in this business for 26 years, so we were doing pay-per-click before pay-per-click even existed, before Overture, which is what Google had purchased. If your audience is old enough,
I remember Overture. I remember it. Yeah.
we were doing pay-per-click marketing in back then and charging 25 cents per click.
Isn't that amazing? I know so many people that did arbitrage back then and made a lot of money. I mean, you can still make money in arbitrage now, but I mean, back then it was like printing money.
Yeah, we were with a partner. We were doing about 2 million clicks a month back in the 90s.
Wow. Yeah, and that's like in the 90s. That was all the internet traffic.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And then Google stepped in there and bought Overture, and then they got into the market, right? So I mean, we had our own pay-per-click marketing game going on before even Google had it, right? I missed my train, I think, but so I'm still out there waiting for the good big train to come through.
Well, you're doing great work. That is awesome. Someone's lucky to work with you. And what's the best way to get in touch with you?
Probably email or phone. I love a good phone call. And that number is just 603-758-4118. Call me anytime, 9 to 5. I even sometimes pick up out of hours just because I enjoy, I enjoy what I do and helping businesses and making them succeed, optimizing their processes and making more money. That's what really gets me excited.
That's fantastic. And where do you spend much time on social media?
I'm not a big social media guy. Truth be told, 2% of all traffic to a website is generated through social. I don't go to Instagram to look for sneakers. I type in sneakers or I type in Nike, right? Or whatever it is, and just buy them that way. I think 33% of all traffic's generated from the first organic link. Below that, it's 22%. After that, it's 15%. And then number 4 is you're not there.
Yeah.
I'm not a big social guy, but remarketing and targeting and branding, right? I think it's a lot like radio or TV. I think, it has its place, right?
For sure.
Yeah. For
sure. So that's fantastic. And SEO is not going anywhere. SEO is definitely not dead.
No, that's where companies are won and built on right there. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Sheyne, this has been awesome. Thank you so much for being on the Garlic Marketing Show.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks a lot, Ian, for having me.
And thank you all for taking Sheyne and I on your journey. This has been On Garlic and the Garlic Marketing Show.